Amazing day to all my self-care family and friends. Welcome back to another Room2Breathe Podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach 614, and I'm so glad that you are here with us today. Before we jump into today's episode, just a quick reminder. If you're enjoying the vibe, show us some love by tapping the screen, liking, commenting, and sharing. Your support helps us to reach more incredible souls like you. And if we're not already connected, go ahead and hit that follow button, subscribe to our channel, so that way you never miss out on any of our upcoming content. I also invite you to visit our website at theselfcareclub.org. We have some awesome affirmative apparel, motivational merch, and a bunch of free resources designed just for you. It's all about empowering yourself and embracing your journey. No matter what challenges you're currently facing, remember that you are not alone on this path. We are in this together, supporting and uplifting each other every step of the way. It is time for us to choose to prioritize our well-being, to embrace our growth, and to find peace in the present moment. So let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together. And don't forget, the green hearts in the chat represent our commitment to healing, growth, and intentional self-care. So if something resonates with you today, be sure to drop a green heart just to let us know that you're tuned in, tapped in, and growing with us. So let's just get into it. Our topic of discussion today is a village, right? Because it takes a village. And I think we hear that a lot of times when it comes to raising our children, right? Everybody tells you it takes a village to raise a child. But what about the village that it takes to rebuilding the trust through the entire community after there's a trauma? So today I want to go ahead and just get right into it and spend a little time talking about trust. And when I say trust, I mean real trust. The kind of trust that feels like an exhale, right? The kind of trust that doesn't need to be earned in fear, but grows naturally in love. The kind that, for many of us, was shattered by betrayal, abandonment, or some type of emotional neglect. And I think that for so many women, especially those of us who have been through trauma, rebuilding trust can feel like trying to piece together something that we've never actually held whole in our hands. And yet something powerful happens when we do allow ourselves to be seen, heard, and held within a community. So yeah, it takes a village, not just to raise a child, but to restore the soul of a woman who forgot what safety feels like. And in order to do this, we must begin by looking back to see, where did you first learn to mistrust? Hey, brown skin girl, welcome in. Miss E, welcome in. Right, so we have to ask ourselves, where did we first learn to mistrust? And I'm not talking about like a quick answer or a surface level kind of reflection, right? I want to really open the door to our healing. I want to really get into this and for us to really start to think, where did we, first learn mistrust? And I'm not talking about just people or the process, right? Your voice, your instincts, your own worthiness. I want you to take a moment to think back, not to, punish yourself with the past, but to start to really begin to understand the root of it. Because the seeds of mistrust don't just appear out of nowhere. It's planted. Often when we're younger, when we're unaware, and it grows silently in the shadows of our stories. Maybe it was in your childhood when promises were broken by the very people who were supposed to protect you. Maybe it was in the silence after you shared something so vulnerable, yet nobody came to comfort you. Maybe it was watching someone else, someone you loved, lie to your face. And then realizing that love and truth don't always show up together. For some of us, mistrust was modeled, right? We watched our mothers walk on eggshells. We saw our aunties cover bruises with makeup and smiles. We heard our older sisters stop believing in happily ever afters. And so through all of this, we learned not too much, right? Don't trust too much because it'll only end in pain. It'll only end in heartache. And so then we carry that lesson quietly but heavily into our adult lives. We don't call it mistrust though. We packaged it up real pretty and we started calling it being careful. We call it having standards. We call it guarding our peace. But deep down, it's really just fear. It's the ache of remembering what it felt like to be disappointed, abandoned, betrayed. And here's the thing. Trauma teaches us to be suspicious, even of the good stuff. When you've been burned by love, kindness starts to feel suspicious. When you've been abandoned before, consistency starts to feel like a setup. When you've been silenced in the past, being heard begins to feel unsafe. And see, that's what trauma does. Trauma rewires the brain to brace for impact. You're waiting for what's next. Even when no one's swinging, even if the coast is clear, even when the right people are showing up for you, you question it. But today, I just want to remind you that you deserve more than just survival mode relationships. You deserve to feel safe in love. You deserve to be soft and protected. You deserve to stop questioning every single good thing that enters your life. Today, here's what I want you to carry with you. That mistrust that you feel was never a character flaw. Thank you, She Ready. The mistrust is not a character flaw. Okay? It was simply your response to the pain. It's your shield. It's a signal. It's a survival mechanism. But you're no longer in the place where that pain was born. And so you don't have to keep living like it's still happening. You can choose to unlearn mistrust. Not by forcing it, but by building trust slowly, consistently, with yourself first, and then with others. Because again, this has to start from within. It's self-care. So you must first learn to trust yourself again. And then you start to welcome others in. And so this podcast today is simply your permission to trust the process of learning to trust again. Even if it's awkward, even if it's slow, right? Especially if it's sacred. And with the word sacred, let's talk about something else sacred for a moment, right? Because the whole point in us rebuilding trust is to get back into the village piece, right? Where we start to feel the power of a safe community. Because I really believe that a community is something very sacred. And I'm talking about the kind of community that just doesn't witness your healing, but holds on to it, helps you with your healing, right? And I can tell you guys firsthand, there is nothing like being surrounded by people who support you, people who uplift you, right? Being surrounded by people who don't need you to shrink, to perform, or pretend. I spent countless hours, years, cultivating a safe community, one that doesn't rush the process of healing, doesn't minimize your pain, and doesn't require you to trade your authenticity for their acceptance. A safe community is a space where your nervous system can actually rest for a minute, right? Where you have room to breathe, to pause, to just be. Thank you for the follow. Welcome back, Dee. Hey, Jericho. Right? A safe community is a space, like I said, where you can just pause, where you're not watching, for the next emotional landmine to erupt, where your no is respected, where your yes isn't manipulated, and where your vulnerability isn't treated like a liability. So, what makes a community truly safe? Right? What makes this village a safe place to be? Because ultimately, it's not all about just good vibes, right? Yeah, it's great when you have a good time, but it's bigger than that. It's not just about shared interests. It's all about emotional maturity, mutual respect, and a culture of care. And some of us are, some of you are like, well, I don't know if I've ever been in a safe space. I don't even know what that looks like. Well, here's what it looks like when you're in a safe space. You can exhale. Literally. Your breath deepens, your jaw unclenches, your guard lowers. Not because you're naive, but because you're comforted. You're held. You feel welcome. You feel at home. You don't feel the need to over-explain. Safe people don't require a 10-point essay to believe in your boundaries or your lived experience. If you say it hurt you, we simply just believe it hurt you. No need to over-explain. What's understood doesn't have to be explained, right? In a safe space, you feel seen and supported, not fixed. Because healing isn't about being rescued or fixed. It's about being witnessed, uplifted, and reminded of your wholeness, even if you're in the messy middle of it. And in a safe space, there's room for a full range of you. And when I say full range of you, I mean that there is space for your joy. There is space for your grief, your doubt, your triumph, your insecurities, your softness, your anger, your love. In a safe community, you don't have to compartmentalize who you are. You're embraced in every complexity. And again, if we're being real, many of us haven't even experienced this kind of safe before. We've been trapped in rooms where we had to perform healing just to belong. You know what I mean? We've been we've been in support groups where we weren't actually being supported. And it just simply turns into a comparison contest. We've been in churches, families, circles that preach unity, but practice judgment. So when we talk about finding our village, it feels a little weird. Hey, Miss Sherry, right? When we talk about finding, this village, this safe space, we have to begin to understand that we're not talking about popularity or proximity, right? We're talking about emotional safety. Emotional safety, sacred alignments. And so, sometimes if how can I put this? Sometimes your safe space is found not in a large crowd, right? And I do believe that there are strength in numbers, but sometimes what we're looking for is not in a large crowd, in a large community, but Sometimes our safe space is simply found in the quiet companionship of one, maybe two other grounded souls who love you with no agenda, right? No agenda whatsoever. And, before we can honestly start to take up space with others, remember I said that we have to focus inward. We've got to start to focus on ourselves first. We have to begin our independent healing before we can come together and collectively heal with someone else. And so it's really important that we begin to recover from our trauma. We must begin to do the work on self first. Because again, trauma isolates you. It whispers things to you like, you're too broken to be loved. You're too complicated to be chosen. And we know that a safe community is going to help you to prove that lie wrong over and over and over again. But first, you have to believe that there's something distorted with that. I'm not too broken to be loved. And once I understand that I'm not too broken to be loved, then I can show up in that community ready to be loved, willing to be loved. Because again, I told you, trauma simply rewires the brain. It softens the heart, right? And so that recovery is it weakens the heart. But the recovery, the trauma recovery is going to help you rebuild it. And where your heart is growing cold, it's going to help to soften it. Trauma recovery teaches us that, the connection doesn't have to mean pain. We were just connected to the wrong source before. The recovery shows us what it feels like to be in a relationship without exploitation. What am I trying to say? It's more cohesive. It's not coerced, right? You don't feel forced or like it's a betrayal to be a part of it. And so healing happens in safe relationships. Hey, Drea, thank you so much for being here, love. Welcome. Healing happens in safe relationships, not perfect ones, right? But relationships that are built on presence, patience, and permission to just be. Permission to just be who you are right now in this space. And so one of the things that I like to do is to let people know that we have a safe space. We have a community that we've been building since 2020. And so for those of you who may be listening and you're looking for a safe space, right? First and foremost, I want you to understand that you're not behind. It doesn't matter how old you are, right? You're not behind because you're still looking for a safe space to be. You're not unworthy. You're not asking for too much. You're just simply asking the wrong people. And that's okay, because now you know what you deserve. You know that you deserve more. You deserve something better. And the beautiful thing is you can begin to build a community right now, and the type of community that you've always needed. And so if you're looking to create your own community, not just join another community, right? But if you're looking to create your own community, a space where you feel safe, all you have to do is start small. It could be something as simple as a book club centered around mental wellness. You could hold weekly check-ins with one friend, just one. You don't have to have a bunch of people, but you can just do a weekly check-in with that one friend who you believe truly sees your soul. You can create a faith circle that holds grace over guilt. A virtual support group where vulnerability is the norm, right? And remember that safe communities aren't built overnight, but they are possible. Like I said, I've been cultivating the self-care club since 2020. Hey, Ann, great new day. Watching from UK. Okay. Welcome in. we have a virtual support group called the Self Care Club, and like I said, many of us have known each other even before 2020, but we formally, created this group to support each other and uplift each other, um, and we fight with each other. Okay, I mean, we're human beings. We disagree. Everybody doesn't always see eye to eye, but we always bring it back together. We always come back together to support each other, because at the end of the day, we're a group of like-minded individuals who desire to heal, to grow, right? So I can promise you, even though safe communities are not simply built overnight, they are possible. And it's worth protecting when you find it, when you build it. I have an affirmation for you guys. Maybe I guess a few little affirmations I wrote down for us today. Um, one of which is, I am worthy of love that protects, not pretends. And that's a big one for me. I kept that one on the wall for quite a while. Again, it's, I am worthy of love that protects, not pretends. Another affirmation that I have is that I am calling in spaces that feel like safety, right? I want to be a part of communities that feel like safety. Remember, the protect, not pretend. And another thing that you must do is to begin to trust that the right people are finding their way to you, and that you're becoming safe for yourself. So the whole affirmation, the whole piece goes, because I just broke it down, but I'm going to read it to you guys all as a whole. I am worthy of love that protects, not pretends. I am calling in spaces that feel like safety. I trust that the right people are finding their way to me, and I am becoming safe for myself too. That means I'm not just calling in for others to come and do the work for me, that I'm also doing the work for myself. That I'm making it safe for me, so that way I can welcome in other people as well. You know, I can remember working with a client who had survived abandonment issues. And, her abandonment issues stemmed back, from multiple family members. And her her biggest wound wasn't loneliness. It was hyper independence. Hey, Mr. Awesome, welcome in, bro. Her biggest wound was her hyper independence. She didn't know how to lean on people. And so when she finally let the wall down and joined a sisterhood kind of circle group, it took her maybe 3 sessions to even say her name in the group. And she would always come back to me and tell me that, yeah, I just sat there and I didn't really speak. I haven't really said anything yet. And I'm like, well, what's the point in going if you're not going to engage? You know? And so she was like, well, I'm just feeling it out. And I was like, okay, so you're just going to sit back and watch everybody. You're just going to sit back and judge everybody else. Why won't you speak? So, three sessions in and countless sessions with me in between, she's like, you know what? Next time I'm going to speak. And so, I think it was either her fourth or fifth time going to the group, because she kept going back. So I knew that this group was going to benefit her because she kept going back. It wasn't like she quit. She kept going back, right? So it took her, like I said, the fourth, maybe fifth session. And, she started by just simply saying her name. Just saying, hey, I'm here, I'm present. Acknowledging that she sees the other women, that she heard the other woman. Hey, Roosevelt. And the other people, they didn't judge her. They didn't force themselves on her. They weren't too pushy, and that's what kept bringing her back. And she kept going back. And over time, through shared tears, radical honesty, laughter, she didn't just rebuild trust. She was able to reveal her identity. And that wasn't anything that she needed to rebuild. She just needed to feel safe in a space to show who she was, to reveal who she was. And so, you know, through her persistence, because she wanted this, she craved the community, you guys. But like I said, she had just been abandoned by so many people that she was tired of showing up as herself and telling people who she was, only to be abandoned again, right? So she kept going back. Like I said, she kind of watched, and she's seen the safe space that she was in, the people that she was with, and it allowed her to then start to tear her walls down and reveal her identity. And you know, the thing that she came back and told me was that, you know, the thing that she learned was that community didn't, you know, doesn't just help us trust other people, but it helped her to remember who she was. And, you know, that was a lesson for me as well, because I'm like, yeah, you know, having a community doesn't just help you let other people in. It starts to show you who you are as well. Um, and so I want to take a little bit of time. Initially, I wrote this up kind of as a journaling exercise. But I want to do this as a chat exercise too, for those of you who are present. I want to do something called My Village Feels Like. All right. And so this is where it's y'all's turn. And you guys can write this down and take this as a journaling prompt. But for those of you who are here and are willing, I want us to take a moment to reflect and reconnect. And we're gonna do that, you know, with each other. Like I said, if you want to do it in the chat, great. I appreciate it. If not, I want you to write this down. Right? And we are simply going to finish the sentence. My village feels like. Put it in the chat. My village feels like. For me, my village feels like home. And before we get too deep into this, you guys, there is no right or wrong answer. Okay? I just simply want to know for you what your village feels like. My village feels like returning home after a long day. My village feels warm and inviting. Your village might feel like a warm hug after a long day. Your village may feel like deep belly laughs that turn into tears, where, you know, you're laughing so hard you can only cry because you can't stop laughing. Your cheeks hurt, your belly hurts. A good kind of pain, though, right? Your village may feel like peaceful silence, where you just don't feel like you have to explain yourself. It might be soft check-ins, consistent love, unspoken understandings. Miss Sherry says, my village feels like I really do not have one. And you know what, Miss Sherry, it probably feels like that to a lot of people. There's no shame in that. We've all got to start somewhere. Thank you. Thank you, Drea. I've been there, right, Miss Sherry? I initially felt like I didn't have a village, and so I created one. Um, and you know, you just like everybody else is invited into our village, as well, because again, that's what we're doing here. We're cultivating safe spaces. And remember how I said it's not that we're unworthy of it. It's not that we're asking for too much. We're just asking the wrong people. And so we've got to begin to understand that, hey, you know what? I do deserve that love and support and that care. I do deserve that community. And so while you know that right now your village feels like you don't really have one, I want you to now think about, what does your ideal village feel? What would your ideal village, or what's your image of the ideal village? What does that feel like? Even though you may not have one, same for you, Drea. Even though you may not have one, I want you to think about, what would it feel like? If you were searching for a village or a community, right? It's no different than when we go out and we're shopping for a home. We don't have the home yet, but I know that I want 3 bedrooms, a large bathroom, a big kitchen. I want a nice sized backyard, 2-car garage. I don't want to be too close to, the road. I want to be a little separated from people. Right? So you know what you want. We make vision boards. We have all of these things. So you know what it would look like. So Drea, Miss Sherry, I want to ask you, what would it look like if you could just choose? If you were just going through a catalog of villages and communities to be a part of, what would it involve? Oh, are we still there? Can you hear me now? Welcome in from Russia. How you doing? Gemini to God, welcome back. Are we good, Drea? Can you hear me? And so this is something, and you guys may not even have the answer during the live stream. It's okay. I want you guys to write that down for yourself and spend some time thinking about it today or this week. What does my village feel like? What would I hope to feel from a village? And, for those of you who need a little help because you're like, I don't even know where to begin. Well, you could simply, say, okay, what does emotional safety feel like to me? How do I know I'm loved and supported? What kind of energy do I want to be around? Okay, Drea. So I'll back up just a little bit. For those of us who don't necessarily feel like we have a village yet, or we don't know what a village looks like, what I was explaining was that, you could start with a few prompts like, what does emotional safety feel like to me? Or how do I know when I'm loved and supported? What kind of energy do I want to be surrounded by? And, again, if you're still building the village, I need for you guys to understand that that's okay. Maybe your prompt could be, the village I'm calling feels like. Because we're all about manifesting things. We're all about welcoming things in. So the village that I am calling, the village that I am seeking feels like what? For me, when I began, I wanted to gravitate towards people who felt like sunshine. And for me, the reason why I said sunshine is because I can remember as a child being in church with my family and, the beautiful stained glass windows in the church. And there was always this moment being in church where the sun would shine and it would shine in on me through the stained glass windows. And I would just immediately be sitting there feeling so warm, covered, protected, safe. And at that moment, nobody else existed in the church. It was just a safe, sacred space with me and God. And I felt at peace and I felt calm. So anytime I was seeking a community, I wanted to gravitate towards the people who felt like sunshine. Because sunshine to me represented something so calming, something so intimate. So my village that I'm calling feels like sunshine. And I, attract people to me who feel like sunshine, who feel warm and inviting. And so that's something that we do together by creating a collective space, right? A collective vision, this intentional connection with each other. And Miss Sherry and Drea, you are, whether you know it or not, a part of the Self-Care Club community because you're here. You're present. So you have a community. I really just welcome you to maybe tap into it more. To get into it more. Because again, sis, y'all don't have to do this alone. We're in this together. And, healing isn't a solo journey. Welcome back, Queen. Healing isn't something that we have to do by ourselves. Healing is a collective remembering. And rebuilding trust after trauma, that takes a village. So if For anybody, like I said, Miss Sherry, Drea, for anybody who is craving a safe space where you can show up as your full, unfiltered self, right? If you've been longing for real conversations, real healing, real connection, we've got a seat saved here in the Self-Care Club for you. We're already here. I invite you guys to join our virtual self-care community on Discord. And it's just a space curated for intentional healing, growth, and genuine support. We've designed this not to be just some other chat room, right? But we really want this to be a sacred circle, a judgment-free zone where you can process your story without shame, where you can ask questions without fear, where you connect with other people who get it, where you can receive encouragement, resources, and love from fellow self-care family members who know exactly what it feels like to start healing. So for anybody who's listening, who's interested in joining a community, that is ongoing, that is constantly growing and evolving, you can visit our website at selfcareclub.org. There you'll be able to find the link to join our Discord space and every single thing that you need to get plugged in. And, that gives us the opportunity to start to rebuild trust together. One honest conversation at a time. It's a safe connection. Basically, it's like we talk about here, one little green heart at a time, right? Because healing is hard work, but it doesn't have to be lonely work. So again, I encourage you guys to join our community. And like I said, start small. If you have questions about building your own community, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to, be that voice to help you cultivate your own safe space, if that's what you're interested in doing. So as we get ready to, start to wind things down a little bit, guys, I want to also take this moment, wherever you are, whether you're listening in your car, you're lying on the couch, walking through your day, I just want you to allow these words to wash over you. Okay? And I want you to affirm with me that it is okay to trust. I want you to say, I am safe to trust again. I am worthy of support. I attract a healing community. I am safe to trust again. I am worthy of support. And I attract a healing community. I am safe to trust again. I am worthy of support. And I attract a healing community. I want you to breathe that in. I want you to allow that to land in your heart. Let it settle into the spaces where fear once lived. I am safe to trust again. I am worthy of support. And I attract a healing community. Yes, you can trust again. Not blindly, but bravely. Thank you, Tiff. Welcome back. And again, it's not all at once, but it's one soul honoring step at a time. You are not a burden for needing care. You are not broken for wanting to connect. You are a human being designed for belonging, for softness, for a sacred community. So today and every single day moving forward, I want you to repeat this truth to yourself. I'm allowed to lean. I'm allowed to lean. I'm allowed to receive. I am calling in a community that nurtures, not drains. I seek a community that uplifts, not invalidates. That mirrors back my strength and reminds me of who I am when I forget. A sisterhood that will fix my crown when it's falling. I am allowed to lean. And y'all know every time I start talking about lean, honey, we get on the lean on me. But just like that song says, sometimes in our life, we all have pain. We all have sorrows. But if we are wise, we know that there's always a tomorrow. And in the song, they say we're not strong. So I'll be your friend. So today, you know what? Life coach will be your friend and I can help you carry on. But we have a whole community here. So it's not just me. I'm backed by a whole community of people who are willing to allow you to lean on them. Who will no doubt one day have to lean on you. So until next time, remember, you are loved deeply and unconditionally. You are held in spirit, in grace, and in arms by people who see you. You are whole even as you are healing. And no matter where you are on your healing journey, I want you to understand that you belong right here with us. We are in this together. Now, as we wrap up today's episode, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining us today. If you've enjoyed our time together and we're not yet connected, be sure to hit that follow button, subscribe to our channel, so that way you never miss out on the latest content. And if you are looking to elevate your self-care game, you need a little extra dose of inspiration to help get you through the day, I encourage you to visit our website at theselfcareclub.org. There you can book a personalized one-on-one coaching session. You can join our virtual support group. And of course, we also have affirmative apparel and other motivational merch, including our Room2Breathe music, as well as just a treasure trove of free resources that are designed just for you. If you wish to be a featured voice on our podcast, we'd love to hear from you. So be sure to reach out to discuss further details and schedule your recording sessions. As always, I thank each and every one of you for being a part of the Self-Care Club community. And I look forward to connecting with you all again soon. But until next time, I am encouraging you to keep breathing, stay positive, and remember that you will always be supported here at the Self-Care Club. So don't be afraid to take up space and make a little room for you to breathe. I pray that you all have an amazing day on purpose, filled with nothing but purpose. And I look forward to us connecting again soon. Thank you. On my room to breathe.